Hello and welcome everyone to the inaugural episode of Polyhedron Presents Trinity Continuum Anima. I need to be sedated. I do need to be sedated.
I want to be sedated.
I want to be sedated.
I want to be sedated. Yeah, so it's a choice.
It's not want to, it's wanna.
I want
a song, Matthew.
I know it's a song.
As the official title is, I want to be sedated.
Yes, I want to be sedated. But also don't want to get flagged for copyright. So there
you
you
get
go.
14 seconds.
Yeah. But anyways, I am your host, Matthew Malice, and these people right here with me are co-hosts and co-performers. This is a very special thing for us here at Polyhedron and Onyx Path. So we thank them greatly for coming on and giving Anima a whirl. I'm going to go around, introduce everyone, and they can explain a little bit more about themselves and the characters they're playing. So we're going to start with Dixie.
Hi. My name is Dixie Cochran. You can find me at Dixie Cyanide online. I work for the Onyx Path as an in-house developer, mostly in Chronicles of Darkness and Exalted. However, I did write a good chunk of Trinity Anima, so I'm super excited to play it. My character is Poppy Zed. It was the nickname for Penelope Zavaruka. She is a streamer, and she hates her rich parents. She was also born in Cascade, which is one of born and moved here before she forgot. Before she remembered anything else.
Yeah.
I can talk. I don't know what words are.
Words are words.
I do a podcast every week. What?
What are words, really?
Yeah. What is meaning? And Scott, who are you?
Hi, I am Scott Kuban. I am a co-host of Polyhedron. I also run Simulacra Studios, another actual play studio. You can find us on Simulacra TV on Twitch and YouTube. Currently have a Trinity Continuum Aberrant game running. Aberrant Atomic Youth, so please check that out. Hope you'll enjoy that. And I am playing Makhno, who is an anarcho-socialist revolutionary working with the Aeon Covenant, because that's the one that aligns with his vision of a better world for the time being. And he is on assignment to Cascade to do good things, figures out some mysteries, and maybe blow up some fascists. I don't know. We'll see how that works out.
Probably more of the latter than the former, but
we'll see.
You can do both.
And Ryan, what about you, good sir?
Hi, I'm Ryan Jofesberg. I'm another one of the Polyhedron Podcast co-hosts. I don't have social media that matters. And I got no plugs. I got nothing. It's all associated with these guys.
Does social media matter?
Not really. No.
Really?
Oh, no, it definitely doesn't at all. But mine definitely doesn't.
It doesn't, but it does. And we kind of wish it didn't, but it does. Anyways.
We'll touch on that. Let's touch on that.
Yeah.
So I will be playing Hamish Connor, a former basically child soldier, militiaman who has become a spy for the Aeon Covenant and has come to Cascade to figure out what the FSA is up to. And I'm sort of trying to channel a less toxic James Bond, but let's see if that survives the first hour of playing him.
And since I'm one of the last players, I'll introduce myself again. I am Matthew Malice. I am a co-host and producer of Polyhedron, at Polyhedron Cast on Twitter. I play Guy Bennitti. He's basically the team's scientist and researcher and also a computer expert. But Poppy is also very good at such things.
Different kind. I'm more familiar with the video game world of Terra Surge and how to interact online. You're more of our actual tech guru. Poppy probably calls somebody to upgrade her computer.
Tech guru, that's a very good way of putting it. Yeah, he's basically and similar to Poppy, he's been in Cascade for a very long time. He's bounced around orphanages. He's incredibly intelligent, and he is here on assignment, and more importantly, he's been activated by the Aeon Covenant to help in uncovering the mystery of the missing players of Terra Surge. And let's turn it over to Eddy, and then I have one or two more things I need to go over. But go ahead.
My name is Eddy Webb. My pronouns are he, him. I am one of the in-house developers at Onyx Path Publishing, as well as the owner of Pugsteady, my own company. And for the purposes of this, I'm not only the story guide for the game, but also I am the developer of Trinity Continuum Anima. And I'm excited to really dig into this setting because previously we've run some kind of very short playtesting things. This will be the first time we've really a longer form campaign. So I'm curious to see how this goes.
And we are very honored that you allowed us to do this. This is going to be super fun for us and everyone else.
I feel like Eddie used to like Trinity Pope. Like he allowed you. He is blessed.
Yeah, the special dispensation from the Sci-Fi Church. So
wait, technically the Pope is the Pope of the Trinity.
Yeah.
Right.
He's got his
I
own
gotta
Pope
go
mobile
think
now.
about this now.
And if we've done a lot of like word vomiting toward you, like Terror Surge and a few other things, don't worry, we will explain it as we go along. But do note, if you notice our backgrounds, if you see the sort of the greedy cyberpunk style backgrounds, that means we are in Cascade. We are quote unquote in the real world. And if you see our backgrounds change into something else, probably something more fantastical or exotic, that means we're likely in Terror Search, which is the MMO of the universe. That means we're in a game, as it were.
I might also stick this fascinator to my head because I'm a bird man.
Yeah, if we're wearing masks or something like that, we don't look like we kind of look like now, it means we're probably in Terror Surge, not in the real world. We'll try to be verbally clarify that, but just want to let everyone know if you see things change on you, that's on purpose. Like we're intentionally trying to do this because this is literally a game within a game.
Within the game.
Part of the illusion.
Yeah, technically it's game within a game within a game.
With game.
Gameception.
Oh, I'm going to be so many dudes. It's kind of weird. But without further ado and less explanation, Eddie, take it away. Let's have some fun.
Okay. So we start with Chapter 1, Public Image. The year is 2084, and the camera that we're looking through is panning over a city. The city, you see lots of construction happening in this sky view, but a lot of their buildings are clearly very new. They're also very clean, lots of chrome and glass and white buildings. There's not very much graffiti on the buildings. There's also not a lot of people walking around on the streets. The streets are strangely empty. There's a few pedestrians here and there. The occasional hover car flies by and lights flash. But otherwise, the city is clearly one that is in transition. We pan back and we can see outside the edges of the city that there's a lot of rubble and ruin. So this is an oasis in a very destructed area. The camera zooms back in and zooms down into a part of the city. Then we see a title on the screen that says, Burnaby Down. We don't know what that means yet, but it is definitely a part of the neighborhood of the city. The camera goes through to one building where we see the Aeon Covenant symbol on the top, and it flies through one of the windows. Sitting at a desk, we see a very well-dressed black man. He's got very short hair, and his desk is completely clean, and yet he's still kind of touching the air as if he's manipulating something that we can't see. The camera pans around to stand behind him, and then we see there's actually an overlay on top of it, and there's documents and video feeds all over, and he touches and interacts with them. He reaches forwards and pulls up the video and pulls his fingers apart to spread the video wide. And in it looks like we see a feed from a video game. And there's a crawl at the bottom, and all we see is, where is Hel Castro? Where is Hel Castro? What happened to him? He reduces the size of the video, makes a pulling motion, so he pulls like almost a document forward, and we see pictures of your 4 characters, and he starts touching them in turn. We cut to Dixie. What is Poppy doing at this moment?
Poppy is streaming to her followers. She's having a party in her stronghold, which is decorated in just like almost Rococo futuristic.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's futuristic, but it's ornate. And you can tell some of the gaming world elite are there, and she's just kind of hanging out in a corner talking to her friends. There's a DJ on stage. It's all virtual, but she's having a good time.
So you're having your virtual party, and you have your internal communications kind of set to mute because you're in the middle of a party. You don't want to be distracted by outside voice calls or anything, or emails, any of that. So your notifications are shut off. But yet somehow through all of that, the Aeon symbol pops up in a pull notification in the corner of your eye. And it starts spinning and rotating. And it's very clear the rest of the party is not seeing that symbol.
Mm-hmm. Hang on 1 second. I just need to go make a call. And she kind of lets the stream just go onto the party itself. And she turns off her own vocalization so she can step out of glass for a minute and take the call.
Okay, yeah. The virtual camera you have, it just rotates and starts focusing on the DJ, the dance floor for a while. And then the symbol kind of opens up like a flower, and you see an image of a man that you don't quite recognize, but you do see he has an Aeon pin on his jacket. It is the same man we saw earlier in the scene. And it says, "We need you to come into Aeon now."
Now?
It's important.
Fine. Yeah, no, I'll be there. Just give me a second to shut everything down here.
Okay. Then we cut to Scott. What is Makhno doing right now?
Makhno is kind of in a less developed area of the city, probably where a lot of the non-citizens and poorer off second-class citizens congregate. He's in kind of a basement area where about maybe a couple of dozen kids and younger adults are going over tactics for resisting riot police. There's like a traffic cone that we're going over. Put a cone over the tear gas maneuver. Here's how you deploy milk. Here's how you deploy like simple riot shield, like anti-riot shields to form a phalanx, and like just really going over resistance tactics with these kids.
Okay. On the screen, we see a small subtitle that says "Point Taylor Down." So it's part of the city that you're in. And as you're kind of describing these things, a lot of the kids, you're looking around, they're definitely younger. You know already that these are all second-class citizens to Cascade. So these are poorer or newer Cascadians who've come into the city. These are not people who are working for corporations. A lot of these kids have, ride-share app kind of jobs. And some of them are really into this, and they're like, yeah, and you're clearly trying to study it. Other ones are kind of distracted, probably looking at their own virtual streams or what have you. But you do get a notification in the corner of your eye. You see the Aeon symbol pop up.
Okay, I'll go over the last few maneuvers of and then you pour the water down into the cone to shut it off. Now they got some ones that aren't really dousable, so we're still figuring that out. But if you got an idea, throw it up the chain. We'll test it out.
Oh yeah, that sounds cool. We'll try it out. Yeah.
All right. I gotta step aside for a second, and I'll go and I'll press the virtual button.
And image pops up. Same man we saw earlier, and he just says, "We need to bring you in. We have a mission."
All right. Is this gonna be worth my time?
Hopefully.
All right. I'll be inbound in 20.
We cut to you, Scott. What is Dr. Bennitti doing?
He is currently probably has a small sort of dish around his head, so he can interface with the glass by beaming instructions to it. And he's twitching slightly because he's he frantically hitting the cancel button, because he obviously has errored on some level, and he's
got a semicolon, huh?
Yeah, yep. And he clicks it, and he's and then he just loads it up and goes through the entire error, the error log, and seeing what the issue was, because he obviously was trying to do it. His apartment is kind of a mess, papers and stuff everywhere. It's located in not far. Also in the Burnaby, but it's in a couple towers away from wherever the head Aeon is. But he currently is just typing away at a virtual screen, while he actually has a real screen with another diagnostic going.
Okay. So you kind of sit back and you're kind of visually viewing the logs, and the audience quickly gets a shot of green kind of computer code scrolling across as you glance around your apartments. And then suddenly a message appears on top of it that says front door, and you hear a knock.
It's and he'll quickly switch over to an external camera and verify who's at the door.
You see a woman wearing a very nice kind of business suit. She doesn't look familiar to you. She has kind of short, dark hair, but you do see pretty quickly the Aeon pin on her lapel.
Okay. He will. He'll go. He'll hit a button. And go. Be right there. And then he gets up and he slightly limps over because he doesn't have his brace on right now. And he slightly limps over to the door and then sort of waves it off and gives the access code, and the door opens.
Okay. And the woman looks at you. She briefly kind of looks up in a, like up and away from you and then back to you, which is you recognize as someone who's probably checking something up in glass before they say anything. And it's like, Dr. Guy Bennitti?
Yes. How may I help you?
I'm with Project Neptune, the Aeon Foundation, or Aeon Covenant.
Oh, please.
And we'd like you to come in to consult with us.
Oh, absolutely. Just give me, where are we meeting?
I'll go escort you.
Then please come in. You can have some water. It will take me just a few minutes to get ready.
Very well. The woman steps inside, the door closes behind her, and as the camera kind of pans away, we briefly get a sense of her. She pulls her jacket aside, and we can see that she has a gun at her hip. Okay. Then we cut away to Ryan. So what is Hamish doing?
Hamish is sitting in a very, very smoky studio apartment in his boxers on his couch playing Terra Surge, grumbling that he doesn't get what the big deal is, but he's been playing for the last 5 hours. He's got a cigarette dangling from his lip. He's wearing a bathrobe, and there's a field stripped pistol next to him that he was cleaning, but he got distracted.
Fair enough. So rather, unlike with Poppy, we don't see inside Terra Surge, but rather we just see Hamish kind of sitting there and just kind of grumbling, like having a conversation with himself. It's like, come on, what's going on here? And, you should have got that. Clearly talking to somebody else that the audience watching this can't see. And then next to Hamish, a small device kind of buzzes. This is a little bit of, it's like a tablet that Aeon uses to get in touch with you.
So yeah, he'll be like, shit, hold on. Yeah, I know. Okay. And he'll pick it up and check his messages.
And you see there's one text message. It's from someone named Connor Malone. And it just says, we need to bring you in.
Fucking finally. Okay. And he will pull on his pants, reassemble the gun very, very quickly, conceal it, and he's out the door.
And then we cut to the lobby of the Aeon Covenant. All four of you are walking in either at the same time, or like maybe a couple people are sitting in chairs while a couple of people walk in. The lobby looks welcoming, but still very well appointed. So that Aeon Covenant certainly has money and is not afraid to show that. But it's rather than like slabs of marble and metal and huge signs, rather it's a little more kind of subdued. There are pictures of different relief efforts that the Aeon Covenant has been involved in over the years. There's like a framed picture of the Aeon Covenant building blueprints, when it was built. And there's even some older photographs, they're probably reprinted photographs of some of the founders, including Max Mercer and the current CEO, Margaret Mercer. But all of you have been here before. You are known by the Aeon Covenant, so you're waved through to the elevators, and you're given directions to Project Neptune. So you take your elevators up to the Project Neptune division, and all of you know that Project Neptune is the, for lack of a better term, the charitable arm of the Aeon Covenant. This is where its humanitarian missions kind of range from. So it's interesting that all of you are being called into the Project Neptune wing.
While we're in the elevator, he's like, and he just nods to everyone when they get on the elevator with him. Like,
yeah, I reek of cigarettes.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, Makhno like acknowledges it, but is clearly like in his own head.
Mm-hmm. Actually, this would be a good time. I just remembered, Eddie. We haven't explained what our characters actually look like.
Yeah, that's actually I was leaning towards. Is like, is a chance kind of how your characters look. So as we now they're all four in the room. So we'll start with you.
Okay, sure. Guy is barely in his 20s, younger man, scruffy, like brownish black hair, He doesn't have the facial hair that I have. He's fairly clean cut. There is obviously a 5 o'clock shadow. He just forgot to shave today. He wears currently like a nice jacket and just simple pants and shirt and everything. So he doesn't look like he puts a lot of time and effort into the way he looks. But he does have like a satchel with him with a whole bunch of like essentially data pads or pads and digital archives. There is a brace, fairly like minimized and like efficient, but there's a sort of metallic brace around both of his legs going all the way down to his ankles. Some sort of electronic assisted device. He does wear glasses, but they obviously are probably more than just eye correction. They probably can do more than that. But he's currently just kind of looking through some files as we're kind of going up, sort of half pay attention to everyone in the elevator and going over those things.
And on the screen, we see underneath of you Dr. Guy Bennitti. Hamish, what does Hamish look like?
Hamish is a man very much approaching 40s, and he looks every bit of it. He's got a lot of scarification down the right side of his body. Pretty messed up. There's only so much they can do for you. And he is wearing a flannel, salt and pepper hair, and he's kind of twitchy right now because it looks like he's going to reach for another cigarette, but then he realizes he's in an elevator inside of a public building, so that's probably not good.
The camera cuts to the no smoking sign is on the elevator.
Also, it's 2084. You've got to be one of the last holdouts, as far as people that still smoke.
Hey, they can cure anything, right?
He rolls his own, man. That's what he does.
And on the screen, we see the name Hamish Connor. Scott, what does your character look like?
Scott Makhno is in his early 40s. Not so much torn up like Hamish is, but definitely looks like he's lived every year of those 40s. He's clean shaven. He's got a clean shaven head, much bigger beard than I actually have. Loud ass Hawaiian shirt. And much like you see here, sort of this holographic visor over his eyes. And he is just sort of leaning back in the corner, just sort of very, very studiously taking in the surroundings, like clocking everyone in the elevator, just sort of getting the measure of them. I'm sure we've met before, but he's just studiously internalizing his opinion and knowns about everyone here.
And the bottom of the screen, we see Makhno, and then a second later, we see just Makhno. And Dixie.
Hi, I'm playing Poppy Zed. She is very petite compared to everybody else. She's also very fashionable compared to everybody else. She's about 20 years old. She looks essentially like this if you're watching the video, which is she has red bobbed hair. She's very fashionable. She's got makeup on. She's got like a big bow on. She's wearing a leather jacket over like a mesh crop top with, jeans and big combat boots. Her combat boots are red. Her belt is red. Everything she's wearing is either red or black. And then she has very obvious cyber eyes, which is kind of weird because that it's like with a press of a button, she could probably make them look like regular eyes. But she on purpose leaves them unmodified, probably as an act of rebellion to her parents because she was born blind and her parents gave her cyber eyes without consulting her at a very young age. So she's always had them. And she doesn't really want to get rid of them, but she wants it to be like, no, look, see, like I have these. Because her parents would much prefer it if she would just turn her eyes, blue.
In the bottom of the screen, it says Penelope, and it starts to type out a last name, but then it backspaces and replaces with Poppy Zed.
She's definitely the most noticeable of all of us, all four people in the elevator. She is like the first thing you see.
Yeah,
definitely.
And she is definitely just checking social media on her like cyber eyes and her little overlays while we're doing stuff. Like she's just looking at comments, looking at upvotes, and checking on her party because she passed it on to her like bots that run things when she's not there. Just checking on everything.
And so we have 4 characters who are familiar with each other, who know each other, but they're all kind of in their own world. So the elevator kind of keeps going and there's no dialogue in the scene. The audience hears some kind of music playing in the elevator that sounds familiar, but then as the doors open, the music changes from Muzak into the beat for Ramones, I Want to Be Sedated. And then as the doors open, we see the title, I Want to Be Sedated, Anima.
Oh,
And
man.
you walk through the titles.
Muzak Ramones makes me sad.
Oh no.
2084. It's
We got to do the
Oldies but
Reservoir Dogs
goldies.
walk. We have to do the Reservoir Dogs walk.
We're walking towards prom. Grizzled old men and kids.
Also, I like that our movie has a 100-year-old song as its title track.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
absolutely.
More than 100 technically, but you know.
We call that timeless.
Right.
Timeless.
Equals out to about our combined ages. It's fine.
Walk through, we see the chapter title, which is public image. And then we cut to all of you standing in front of a door. You see Project Neptune, Special Operations, and underneath of that, Connor Malone. Who knocks on the door?
I just open the door.
Okay. So you just open it.
I like glance at it and I go, ooh, special operations. And I just open it up and walk in.
Ryan, you're the only one here who's familiar with special operations. This is a euphemism for shit Project Neptune needs to do on the down low. So you are very familiar with special operations. The rest of you have heard about special operations, but not entirely know what's going on.
Do I know the gent behind the desk?
Yes, you are familiar with Connor Malone. The man behind the desk. The office is actually fairly comfortable. You almost kind of expect the power executive minimalism, especially in Cascade, because it's such a new city. So many people are new there. Minimalism is very popular. Very clean desks, minimal furniture, almost like hotel chic. This is not that. Instead, you see the desk is clean, but also there's a picture that's turned away from you, and it's a physical photograph. It's not a hollow picture. On the wall, you actually see there is a framed French flag that's hanging on the wall. There are pictures on the wall that look like of Connor with different people. You see his arm around some people you don't recognize. You see him arm around some celebrities you do recognize, some presidents, and even one picture of him with Margaret Mercer. As I mentioned before, Connor is a relatively tall black man, a very nice suit. You see the Aeon pin on his lapel. And as soon as Poppy opens the door, he kind of blinks his eyes and stands up and with a French accent says, "Oh, please come in, have a seat." And there are like couches and chairs all over. It's very comfortable.
He'll step in and he'll go to shake his hand.
Good to see you again, Hamish.
Yeah, good to see you too, Connor.
The rest just does kind of a hello, and then goes and sits down, crosses their legs.
Yeah.
He walks in the room and then blinks and then looks at Connor like, "Oh, I'm in a room now," and he's like, "Oh, apologies. Hello, how are you doing?"
Must be big doings to call in a bunch of us.
Makhno will come up last. He'll just sort of give Connor the good once over, up and down, very unsubtle about the sizing up, and then just nod and head to the couch.
Since you're actually sizing him up, you get to look at him, and you're used to looking for dangerous people.
Mm-hmm.
Connor is very elegant. Clearly, the way he moves, the way he moved around the desk to shake Hamish's hand and whatnot, and just the squeeze of the handshake. This is a man with a lot of strength behind him, and also moves with a confidence that you've seen in other very dangerous people.
All right.
And he says, I don't know if I know Hamish obviously is familiar with me, but for the rest of you, my name is Connor Malone. I am part of Project Neptune Special Operations, and I work with Elaine Gauthier, which is the senior director of the Triton Foundation. And I am hoping that this is nothing, but it is related to some other things that I've been looking into, and I think it's worth time to get a team together to formally investigate what is happening here in Cascade.
I see.
And I've picked all of you specifically because you have a good balance of geographical distribution of Cascade, as well as familiarity with both Cascade itself and also this Terra Search game, which is very, very popular. And I think there may be some connections that are worth exploring. If you could, if you can change your glass to channel Omega 14, I can kind of show you some information.
Done.
So you change your vision over. Glass allows people, glass is a brain implant that everyone in Cascade as a citizen gets implanted. It allows you to basically carry a computer in your head. And one of the things you could do is you have different layers of artificial reality you can apply on it. So it's a bit like a filter or a slide, like Instagram. You can change the look of anything, but also you can see information on different levels. And there are public and private layers. The code he gave you is for a private Aeon covenant layer that once you leave this building, it stops broadcasting. So it's kind of like a local VPN, if you will. As you tune your glass to the appropriate thing, your eyes start to see a kind of a glowing curved wall floating in air. And on it, there are lots of pictures and documents. And he starts, as he talks, he starts to manipulate and move things around and show you them. And he says, as I believe all of you are aware, we have asked to set up here in Cascade. This is one of the first newer cities that the FSA have created in the wake of the horrible atrocities of the past decade or so. But in Cascade specifically, there are some interesting developments. This ubiquitous use of glass is something that the Aeon Covenant wants to make sure is being implemented correctly. It has lots of beneficial and therapeutic benefits, but also there are potential downsides and potential controlling elements they want to look into.
Wetware security flaws, as I like to refer to them as.
That is a very good explanation of it. We don't necessarily assume that the Federated States of America have nefarious interests, but we have, as an organization, been around long enough to know that anyone with ill intent, with enough power, can abuse it. We want to make sure that it is not abused. This connects to this MMO, this Terra Search. That is very, very popular, and it seems to be the most popular form of entertainment in the city. So naturally, we've become very concerned about it. That's one of the reasons why people like you, Doctor, and you, Bobby, we've asked you to come in, because you have a knowledge and understanding of this world that some of our older agents perhaps are not as comfortable with. So any concerning elements, Aeon cannot go with in the same way. If someone gets hurt or if a crime occurs in this virtual world, we don't have the same resources that we can here in Cascade. And one of those is something that we want to look into. There have been, he starts pulling up, you see lots of different pictures. A number of high-profile streamers have been disappearing recently. And for a while, we just kept track of it. Could be people are no longer playing the game. They've changed their character. We didn't necessarily connect the dots. But one recently has come to our attention, and he pulls in the corner of one, and you see a desert landscape. All of you recognize it. It has kind of the slightly unreal tinge that you recognize of it being Terra Search. Poppy immediately recognizes it as a city of broken promise.
Mm-hmm. The main Kimdari city.
Yes. And this is clearly a stream. On the corner, you see a logo for someone named Hel Castro. And there's a Kimdari mage who's moving through the desert. And it's one of those streams where it's not a streamer like talking or hosting to an audience, but rather you get to watch this person go through their adventures. So it's more of like watching the story of this character rather than a hosted segment. So it's kind of a quiet trudging through, and then suddenly the character dereses, And the video, you start to see a crawl of where is El Castro, where is El Castro, and then suddenly a big black, the screen goes black, and you see a spoiler word on it. Those of you who are familiar with Terra Surge recognize this. Because there are elements of Terra Surge, there are the devs or the narrators who manage the game want to keep secret so people can experience those. They have what I call a spoiler tag system where feeds get shut down so that things don't inadvertently get spoiled. However, Guy and Poppy both know that this is a dead boring section of the game. There's no lore here. There's not even really a quest chain here. There's no reason for the spoiler tag to just pop up out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's actually a place where people go to like duel because it's empty and boring. So if they want to
even
go...
Hamish will point out, it's like, looked like he was just walking through the desert.
Yeah, he was. That's what we call slow streaming. Do you remember slow TV from like 6 years ago? It was a whole
it actually
thing.
has a term. Interesting.
Like watching a train for like 8 hours. So watching someone who doesn't really talk or do anything, it's slow streaming. A lot of people really like it. They find it soothing, especially if they don't play the game themselves or can't afford to.
When you say that they're disappearing, like they're disappearing in the game, what about their actual
Yeah, that
selves?
was my next question.
Yeah. Are they?
Okay, he derez. Big deal.
Has anyone checked his apartment?
The
even
reason
know
why
who he
we're looking into it is his guild has been looking for him, and they haven't found information. He apparently has not been forthcoming about his personal life. So it's unusual enough that I wanted to look into it, but also Dr. Bennitti, he's a member of your guild. He is an explorer like you.
Oh, interesting.
One of your
I thought I
guildmates
recognized that
disappeared
guy.
and you didn't notice?
No, well, I haven't met everyone, and
It's a big guild.
My guild
It is a very
big.
large guild.
It also depends if he was running on like a more a secluded part of the server or not. Mr. Malone, is it all right if that particular file with his derezzing on it, can I copy that?
Of course. And he
Thank you.
kind
And
of he does a flinging motion towards you, and then a copy appears in your class.
And I may want to break that down on multiple levels later on. Maybe I can get a hint. Maybe I
I'm
can
hoping you
even
will.
bust past the spoiler tag. And maybe because the data is probably still there underneath. Depends on how sophisticated they were in their cover up. But yes, I can definitely reach out to my guild, and I'm sure I can find out more information. We don't happen to know who the character's name was. Halester, correct?
Hel Castro.
Hel Castro. Sorry. We don't have his real name, do we?
No.
Okay.
One of the benefits that Terra Surge offers is that they can keep their personal information private. Not even the company knows, as long as they get their credit card code and the glass information is good, the subscription is fine. The company does not care. So this individual did not put in his personal information, and this may be nothing, but I think that looking into this, at least we can start to make an actual investigation into disappearances and see if there's a connection. This might lead to other disappearances, or there may be a connection between these that you can find. But I think starting with one that you have a personal connection with, and then seeing where that goes from there will probably be most beneficial.
So this is the only one, or there have been others?
There have been others. This is the one that is the most relevant, shall I say.
You couldn't track any of them down?
Well, we haven't started yet. It has
That's
been,
what we're doing.
if I may be candid, it has been challenging. Some of our leadership, the inner circle, as they call themselves, are older, and they do not seem to appreciate that people not logging into a video game could be concerning at all. I have tried to point out that this is a major social outlet, and that this is another avenue where people can be hurt or damaged or need help, and we should be providing services in there. I have been even asking if we can set up a part of Project Neptune that can service specifically to Terra Surge and other virtual citizens. It has been tough going. So I have no help. You are the very first. You are the vanguard of a potential program. If this goes well, then perhaps we can look into other disappearances and see if there's more concern. If this goes badly, it will be harder for me to go into meetings and make these accusations or suggestions more permanent.
So we should probably keep what we're doing quiet then.
I can offer you any of my help, but Aeon as a covenant, as an organization, it may be difficult for them to understand at first why you would be asking for their help.
He pulls out like one of his like hard tech tablets and starts going through it, and he mentions something. Oh, I've been working on the hypothesis that through evasive sort of programming, even viruses, is possible with how interconnected glass is. It's possible someone could get actually physically harmed through the proper feedback. I haven't had any proof. It's all hypothetical at this point, but it is possible.
And it is in our brain stems. I figured that was always part of the risk.
It's always been assured that there's a million safeguards, but even I have had my run-ins with a few inconveniences when I have attempted to alter glass in any substantial way.
And you run into the concern. Voger, the company that makes glass, of course, assumes that it assures us that it is perfectly safe and that nothing can happen to the individual unless they consent to any kind of change or modification to their brain through the use of glass. And the Federated States of America have supported and validated this stance. So if we are to stand against this, we are standing against not only the company that makes it, but also the governments of this city. Aeon is reluctant to go against governmental mandates unless there's a strong, compelling case for it. If there needs be, Aeon has and will stand against what they see to be unlawful or immoral regimes. But we don't know yet to this full advice.
Let me tell you something, Mr. Malone. I'm willing to look into this. I mean, if people are getting hurt, if people are disappearing, then that's obviously something that needs to be looked into. But, you know, if we find true harm is being done here, and if we find that people are responsible, I'm going to expose them. I'm going to use this information to hurt them and stop them from doing this. I would hope Aeon would have my back in that endeavor.
So I will make this deal. Aeon has a tradition of allowing its agents a certain amount of latitude in the field, as it were. Hamish is well aware of the fact that sometimes field decisions need to be made that can't always be taken back to headquarters and get confirmation of. I respect that. And if you have to make a report after your action versus before your action, I understand. But there are two things that I need everyone here to understand. At some point, a report will be filed with me that I will be able to review. And if you abuse your authority, I will make sure that you stop abusing your authority. We are, at core, a humanitarian organization, and I will not stand for any abuse of power from my agents.
Oh, you have nothing to worry from me, Mr.
I'm sure I don't.
But Makhno, I share your sentiments. If something is going wrong, we will handle it. We will deal with it. Because
You just have to make sure that the evidence is good enough to where the Aeon can't not act.
Yeah, correct. And I'm extremely
that actually gets a smile from Makhno. He does like he kind of like reaches over and like gives you a high five.
Why don't we get worried about the people who are maybe disappearing first before we get into like this FSA conspiracy stuff? Because that seems like it. You know, people we care about them.
Absolutely, we care about them. But
okay, so let's look at that first before we put the cart in front of the horse and decide that everything's terrible. We know it's terrible.
True.
My parents
That
suck. I get it, but come on, let's just do this job at first.
Boppy is absolutely correct. We don't know if anything truly untoward has happened yet, other than someone has forcibly been logged out of Terror Surge and we cannot find their whereabouts currently.
Or he just turned off his glass and was like, "Fuck this."
Possible.
It happens.
I mean, it's entirely possible.
I pray it is only that, but I have developed a sixth sense, I guess you would say, for these things, and I feel like there's something more here. Not enough that I can act on it, but enough that I feel comfortable putting you into the field.
It's an unusual change in behavior. I understand why you would be so concerned.
I get it too. Just say it. We should find out what it is before we.
Has anyone? So I guess we would be the first to go check the location within Terra Surge to see if there's anything going on there. If we need, you have all the information I have. All right. Well, I guess I know where we got to go first.
Well, he looks to all of you. Like I have my abode, which I've have put fairly substantial security on if we need to be in Terra Surge but not locatable, or at least it'll take them some time to chew through my firewalls.
Oh, good, because all I have is a deadbolt and a chain. So
No, I have something a little more substantial than that. Is that all right with you, Poppy and Makhno?
Sounds good.
Sounds a bit much considering how hard it is to find anyone in Terra Surge as it is, since the game is all consent based. But okay, I guess we'll go with the paranoid guy.
Well,
I do have to be able to check my social media every at least 3 hours.
that's fine. You'll be able to. It's more like if anyone tries to find us where we are, if we're doing something we really shouldn't be, we'll have time before they arrive.
Are we doing something that we shouldn't be?
We
According
may.
to Terra
We have
Surge.
to.
Yeah, we're trying to help people. The corpo fascists usually have a problem with that.
bingo bango.
With actually that in
Exactly
mind,
how it
Poppy,
works here, but okay.
obviously you'll need to use one of your alts.
Yeah, no, I know.
Okay.
I'm not stupid.
No, understand. Also, before we get in there, I can probably dissect some of this coding on the footage, and maybe I can find a few more pieces of information out before we go in blind.
You should also reach out to your guild since they know the guy.
No, that is the plan.
I mean, you're a little bit more in touch with them than I am. I just honestly, half the lingo they use confuses me, and sometimes they send pictures that I don't understand what they are.
But they're very friendly. They like you. I've heard nothing but good things.
I mean, that's heartening.
Yes, it should. They're good people. It's just they like their things. Reminds me.
I like the idea of a secure location. That works for me.
Understood. Yeah, I'll doubly make sure once we get there. Mr. Malone, do we have your leave?
Oh yeah, by all means, he shakes all of your hands again. I was like, and as he shakes your hands, you feel a slight tingle, and you get a notification saying we accept contact information from C. Malone. And I assume you all say yes. So you now can directly contact Connor Malone, assuming he's taking calls.
Is there a just as a sort of a environmental question? Is there like instant messaging between people? Like as you said, like if I were to send him a message, would it be at speed of thought, or would I actually have to like pull up an interface and type something out? Just as future understanding of communication.
So the only thing that acts as soon as you think about it is Terra Surge, because Terra Surge, you're kind of shutting off all of the other senses and immersing yourself into it, and so that's a lot of computing power specifically to get that experience and get that latency down as fast as possible. Nearly everything else, it is the equivalent of pulling out your phone and doing something in terms of activity, maybe slightly faster, but the mental thing of like I've opened this up. Either you mentally or you physically kind of gesture in the air, or gesture with your eyes, or subvocalize, or whatever. You can customize it to yourself, but there is an amount of action. And so for purposes of the game, assume it is roughly equivalent to how long it would take you in modern day to, cut out the pulling out your phone part. But if I want to text something, it'd take a couple seconds to write the text out.
It's not like psychic powers in our brain that just by the speed of thought we can do something. It actually requires some mental focus.
Well, we'd probably all go insane if it were that.
Yeah.
Right. But now on the flip side, also, you can do things like if you're all in the same area, if you wanted to open a voice channel between all of you, and so that way you can hear each other's speaking, that's something you could do. It could have the effect of a group chat where you just have a chat messages back and forth. So if one person doesn't need to be hearing your voice, but then they might get messages in their vision of like, hey, watch out or whatever. So you can stay connected to as much or as little as you want to, but you have to let me know we are doing X. It's not, you're right, it's not psychic powers like, I'm just going to tell all my friends. It's like, you have to tell me we've opted into a group chat or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Seems
Speaking
like
of which,
well, thank you, but yeah, it seems like we'll definitely do that before we before we set out, since we're all gonna have to work together anyway.
let's
yeah,
assume
I mean,
you have
if you-
persistent text chat going at least.
Yeah.
At all times.
Like if you think
Yay.
about any MMO that we even have today, like people get into dedicated Discord or Ventrilo or whatever channels and
Right.
talk while they're playing.
We have
So,
our
of
own
course, you can do the
Discord.
same
We have our
thing.
own Discord server now. We literally do, and we have one in game.
Yeah, but it's just built in now at this point.
Yep.
Like it's just built in because currently it's built into World of Warcraft right now. So
Yep. Right.
There was a brief window in the Matrix Online where you could send messages in and out from AOL Instant Messenger. It was
Oh
wonderful.
wow.
It was beautiful.
The future.
the future, and then Sony messed it up.
It was the future yesterday.
Not the future yesterday.
Wasn't there a point in World of Warcraft where you could order pizza while you're inside the game too?
Domino's did do a thing, yeah.
Yeah.
You could pay it with it gold. Oh no.
Oh no.
That's when it all came crashing down. But anyway, Mr. Malone, we have anything like an operations budget for this, or is it kind of catch as catch can?
I can free up a little bit of funds, but assume that extravagant expenses are going to be off the table.
I didn't exactly see myself buying a car or anything, but eating's fun.
No.
From a game perspective, Aeon has a if you take the Aeon Covenant allegiance, there are some edges available to you.
Yep.
And one of them is
Covenant Bond.
Huh?
Is it the Covenant Bond?
Yes, Covenant Bond. I couldn't think of the name of it.
I have that one as well.
For the purposes of this mission, you can use Covenant Bond as wealth if you need to.
Okay.
Awesome.
That works.
Or you can just ask me.
Or you can just have wealth, right?
That works.
With the Covenant Bond, it's if you use it for purposes that aren't related to the mission, you might not work, or you may get conditions as a result of it. Whereas wealth, you can spend your money however the hell you want. So.
Well, I have 2 of one and 0 of the other, so I think I know where I'm going.
Funny how that works.
I can sign off our coffee, right? Coffee.
Is there anything the group wants to do while they're here in the Covenant building? I'll assume it's a no.
Yeah.
No.
Sounds
Can't
like
think of anything right now.
If there had been actual investigation prior to us, I would have definitely went and gotten as much of that as we could, but we're it. So time to get down to business.
Okay. So you make your way out, and Poppy, you have not checked social media for at least half an hour.
Oh Jesus.
So you go and you see that you have a PM from someone named R. Stedman, and the message says, hey, I saw you left your stream early. I was hoping to chat with you about a possible sponsorship deal. Get back in touch with me. And there's an attached business card, which you can pull up. And it is apparently Ruby Stedman of Immersion Entertainment.
All right, I'll pull that and save it for later.
Okay.
Send it to my head mod and say, hey, can you find out anything about this person?
So as you're making your way to Guy's apartments, the head mod will ping you back, and they said, just did a quick search. Immersion Entertainment is a company just kind of started. They're part of the P&W incubator, and looks like they sponsor streams and in-game events. And you are a little familiar. The P&W is Pond Smith & Weissman. It's a business incubator that's here in this endowment. And they do exactly this. It's like they give a little bit of investment money to get new companies up and started, gives them some business space. Because they're all there, they kind of cross-pollinate. And then P&W gets a percentage of the profits for as long as company is around.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'll think about it.
Okay. So you make your way to the apartments. Is there anything more we need to know about the look of the apartment?
No, it's a little larger than what at first appearance of Guy would think he could afford. Like, it's larger and it's got a workbench, and a couple an actual technological workbench with a lot of diagnostic tools. It's cluttered. It is not dirty. Doesn't smell. It's just cluttered, and there's a lot of stuff everywhere. There's physical books. There's pads everywhere. There's other sort of media just scattered about. That's about it. And it's not super far from the Aeon Covenant. From that location, it's maybe 1 or 2 towers over, and then a quick elevator right up.
Yes, I figured it's probably just a short walk.
Yeah.
Okay.
On the way, he's like, so Hamish, how has that script been running for you? I know when you first got here, there was some issues with security that you were concerned about. Has it been handling it correctly?
Yeah, and as much as I executed the thing you told me to execute, and I haven't lost an eye or anything.
You haven't gotten any strange pop-ups or any sort of odd notifications?
just the usual, like, stuff that appears when they advertise to you.
Yes. It's supposed to tamp down on that.
I don't have a baseline, so maybe it would be much worse if it wasn't running.
If whenever we get 5 minutes, I'll look into that, and we can figure out what's going on. So to make sure you're kept off the grid, as it were.
As long as some VR chick doesn't walk up to me offering me male enhancement herbs, I'm good to go. Okay.
Yeah, understood. Thank you.
As you're talking, in the corner of your eye, you see a virtual poster on the wall for antivirus protection.
Don't get them. They don't get paid enough. Their programs don't get paid enough. Don't trust their wear.
Programs don't get paid enough?
Though, Poppy, I'm very surprised that you were called in on this, but
why? I'm awesome at what I do.
I know you are. You are incredible at what you do, but what you do is very particular.
I have crawled through every inch of Terra Surge over the past 5 years. I have done most of it on stream, sure, but I have alts no one even knows about because I have to go practice so I don't look like an idiot on stream.
Yeah, I understand. Yes, you are extremely knowledgeable about Terra Surge, and you have incredible base to which to draw upon, even if you don't personally know it.
We're like in your place right now, right?
Yeah, we are.
Also, I've got this gun, so I think we're gonna be all right.
Good. I was hoping at least someone else would be strapped.
Oh, yeah, I pull aside my flannel and have like a concealed gun.
Yeah, there's like a compact submachine gun under this Hawaiian shirt.
Guys deal with them without a gun.
He's a little wide eyes, like, okay.
Oh, we need to get you a gun.
No.
I borrow one of mine.
I'm fine. I don't need a firearm. I'm well defended. And when he lifts up, you realize part of his outfit, he wears gloves, and he snaps both of his fingers, and there is an electric jolt that goes between them.
Yeah, so you said you're well defended. This isn't always defense, but yes.
But regardless, let me check on this footage. Relax. If you need some food or something, please, you're free to whatever I have, though it's not much.
Can I smoke in here?
Hold on.
No.
And he goes over and taps in the middle of the air and like sort of gets some of these filters, like the air conditioning and AC filters going.
Here's a bands were up.
Yeah. And so basically what I'm going to go to do is I'm going to go look at that footage, and I'm going to see if I can break it apart before we actually dive into Terra Surge.
Okay. We're going to make a dice roll. Hooray.
Yay!
I will let you use either technology or enigmas.
Okay.
And this is pretty much an intellect. Makes most sense.
Okay. Then I'm very good at that.
Or you're a
intellect. And I think we're going to go with enigmas. I will go ahead and for the first time, because I have skill tricks, I'm going to use scientific method.
Okay. What does that do?
I believe scientific method lets me add my science to my enigmas roll.
Oh, okay.
Momentum for that to function? Is that a momentum thing?
The first time you activate any one skill trait, it's free.
Right.
So
Okay.
this one's free. I don't need to have any. We should have 4 momentum because there's 4 PCs.
Yes,
right
right.
now.
You have 4 momentum. And for the purpose, because the audience is getting a slightly different way, each 3 episodes of this will refresh momentum after 3 episodes. So momentum will carry over between episodes for a while.
Okay, I'm going to have to re-roll some dice because I have too many dice.
Your difficulty is 3.
Okay. All right. 1. I need 8s. It's a re-roll. That's not a success.
Thanks for reminding me about that because I've been playing a lot of Exalted Essence where you need 7s.
Yeah, we need. Yeah, that's why I had to remind
I
myself.
had to double
I was
check too.
Oh,
Yeah, and
I got a lot of 7s, and I was very sad.
I've been running Aberrant, so
Yeah, average. You always get 7s, but that's for different reasons.
Ooh,
Yeah.
So I only got 2. This big brain is not big enough, I guess.
Okay. Well, it's fine. You get the core clue. Oh, sorry, not the core clue. You get the raw information. So you start kind of rewinding back and forth. You try to break down the video, but it's pretty clear the video's not been altered. You're at least sure the video's not been altered.
Mm-hmm.
But then you start going frame by frame, back and forth. and you've played the game enough because you specialize in trying to see how the game works. You are the kind of person who would be like, yeah, order quest, but I want to sit here and watch for an hour to see how monsters respawn and learn how that works.
Yep.
So you're also the kind of person that's like going, you've studied videos of people logging in and out and what the different login circumstances, when they die and when they come back to life and what those all look like. When someone goes AFK, their anima kind of turns a grayish color. If someone dies, they fall to the ground, and then eventually a ghost kind of comes back up and jumps into the body. If they log off, it kind of just fades away. This is like old television static tore through the anima.
Yeah. It is extra weird because usually, this is Dixie talking for a second. Usually the game's narrators will fill in, like, if someone logs out abruptly, you won't see it. They'll just kind of like, the like narrators will make it like animate their person walking away from you or like going through a portal or something.
Right.
So the fact that that didn't even happen is very strange.
This is very much my planet needs me. I have to go.
Right.
Right. Or like Star Trek teleporter.
Yeah, it's like it's weird. It's a quote unquote glitch. It looks more like a glitch through their anima.
Right. Like you said, like the stuff you've seen have been secret recordings of people recording themselves appearing and reappearing, because you're right, most times you don't see that. Like for a stream especially, it would have been the screen fades to black, or the narrators have found some other way. You turn around a corner, something. The fact that a stream caught a character disappearing like that and in that way is unusual.
That probably only takes him a few minutes to put together, and he'll explain whatever we are looking into as far as his anima is concerned in Terra Surge. It is highly unusual, as in I have never seen any evidence to have this. This happened so quickly that the narrators could not compensate for it. So we should be wary. But let me double check my my security, and then we can get comfortable. And he also like goes about trying to make room because there's more people than he's used to in his apartment. And then he double checks some of his programming, make sure everything's up and running, and then gets comfy.
Poppy, do you know of anyone who's suddenly gone offline? I mean, this is more your community than it is any of ours.
I'm gonna have to ask Eddy that. Are there like, has anyone that I'm friends with or that I'm like aware of disappeared?
Your guild is big enough that there's a steady churn. Like you have a core of like 3-4 dozen folks that you know by name and talk with regularly. There's another like 20 or 30 that you might recognize if you saw them online, or maybe you just know their handles if you saw it. And then there's still another like 40 or 50 beyond that of people you just wouldn't be able to pick out of a crowd.
Yeah.
And there's always people joining the guild, leaving the guild, whatnot. So you would have to actually talk to your mods and spend some time networking with your guild to find out if there's actually a pattern you can track.
Right. I don't even mean like the guild, but like I assume I watch other streamers and I talk and collaborate with them and stuff like that. So have any of my friends gone missing is what I'm saying. Like not like random people in my guild, but like people she would know.
Let's call that, you make a roll for culture and cunning.
Should take more points in culture. Jesus. I didn't even think about that being a specialty I should take. It's like streamer culture. I probably should have 2 successes.
It's one of those things that you had heard a little bit about this happening before, but until today, you had chalked it up to gossip or urban legends. I mean, because streamer culture, just like every other culture, has its own legends and stories,
right?
Wildly blown out of proportion. And the whole, if you die in Terra Surge, you live in Terra Surge forever. That nonsense has been going around ever since Terra Surge started, particularly Glass. So you've heard bits and pieces, but now that you've been asked that and you've had this conversation, you're going, oh yeah, now it's starting to come to you. There's been not a lot, but like you remember one streamer was doing a show and then suddenly it was obvious the narrator kind of took over because they kind of just wrapped up what they were saying and then wandered off and then the stream shut down kind of thing. And there's another one of someone who was planning to talk about a big, huge lore secret they found they were going to reveal it in their next stream, and then that stream just never happened. Then after a few days, the stream shut down. But you had kind of chalked that up to, making content is hard and sometimes people burn out.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, like all the ones that I've heard of, it's just like, they probably went to spend more time with their family.
All right. Well, it might not be anything, but it's good to have a couple more leads lined up to look into.
It's yes. This is intriguing. I'm intrigued. I'm ready to go. How about all you?
Let's dive in.
Where can I put my P and you not get mad at me? I before I log in, I gotta
Pass the books, the stack of books on the left.
I was gonna say in the bathroom, hopefully.
Yeah, no, it's my clever way of asking that question.
And anywhere else.
I got the colloquialism. It's fine.
Hamish will put his cigarette out on his thumb.
Is that prosthetic working well?
Yeah. It's just a thing I do to mess with people.
Yes, I noticed. I still haven't figured out exactly everything they put in you, but
Oh man, me either.
God, that's an intimate inquiry.
Hey, you're back to the bathroom.
Story for a different war.
Yeah, I can take care of it quick.
So you all settle in, get drinks and whatnot, close your eyes, and then we cut to, we see kind of the camera where your eyes close, black screen, and then there's a flash of lights, and you see the word loading. And then we go to the credits for the episode. And it's episode 1.
Oh, everyone, we'll see you all in episode 2. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.